Hey everybody, Michael Dieterich here. I'm just a poor boy and I am super excited to be back in the studio tonight. I'm going to be working on a commission. I'm excited about this for so many reasons. Number one, it's going all the way to Australia, 17,000 kilometers away. Number two, I'm going to be kind of winging it tonight. I've got an idea what I want together with the client, and I'm going to see if I can make that come to life. And number three, the client wants it sight unseen. So when it's done and it's dry and it's packaged and I know the shipping costs, he's going to pay and I'm going to send it to him, and he's not going to see it until it arrives in Australia. But then we are going to set up some sort of Teams or Zoom meeting, and he will open it up with me there. And we will make a video about that. But let's get to this because we got a lot to do. This is a 60 by 80 3D canvas. I've already checked and made sure that it's level. I haven't put my gloves on tonight because I'm going to try something. Again, I said I'm going to be experimenting. And one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to actually tape off a section of the canvas. Now, I have marked it already to make it easy. Funny thing is, I just put it like this to get it closer to me, but my canvas is actually going to be like this. I can't post the links in the description because tonight, like I said, I am flying by the seat of my pants a little bit. This technique is going to be, I don't even know what to call it. I'm going to be doing kind of a Dutch pour, but not quite a Dutch pour. I'm going to try and go for this ocean effect. I'm trying to get this foam in there. I'm trying to get these very Australian sea colors in there. So it's just experimental. And while I was mixing paints tonight, almost all of these colors, let's see. No, even that one. I think there's just two colors that are not custom. The rest are all custom. Sometimes I would start with a color that I liked, and then I would add a darker shade and a lighter shade on both sides of it to make three different. Some of them are very subtle, but hopefully they'll come across. So this is going to be the top of my canvas. I've already pinned and sprayed, as I said, and I'm just delaying because I'm like excited and nervous at the same time. So here we go. Okay, now, wet wipe. Well, guys, I gotta admit, I'm a little upset. I just went to turn on. I was like, okay, great. I'm at the point where I'd want to put on my side camera. And when I went to do that, I looked up and my iPad had shut off. And I looked and I was like, oh no, it missed so much. So you saw me put that base coat down, and then with all these colors, I was just putting like stripes kind of through it. Then I tilted the canvas. So, I mean, you can see it's kind of like an over-exaggerated Dutch pour, like I oversaturated the base on a Dutch pour. And I love how the colors are already coming together. I'm just looking up here in this section. I don't want to go too light, but this section up here, I'll just show you so you can see what I was doing. I was just kind of going like this. Basically like that, yeah? So, and I was just playing. I put some little dots of gold and white. It's a real shame that that camera cut out. Bad apple. Okay, so now I am going to blow. And what I'm trying to do is not like a Dutch pour that I really make it travel. I'm really trying to go slow, and I'm going to try and get this kind of methodical waviness like water. Yeah. Now I'm going to be holding my hair dryer at a bit of an angle. Yeah, not straight down and not, yeah, like about 45. And I'm going to start far away and just see when the paint starts to move. Yeah, like I said, experimental. Let's see what happens. I like that a lot, guys. I'm very happy with this, how this is turning out. I am going to help it by stretching the paint. Now, as I'm looking, I see, I love almost all of it. There's just a couple places where I see just too much, like here, too much of the, yeah, it's too much of a lines, kind of, you know? It's not got that waviness. But I have a plan for that because, are you still going, bad boy? What I'm going to do is now, I'm going to tilt a slight bit in the opposite direction. Love it. Now I can see in the beginning when, and it's unfortunate the camera cut out, but in the beginning when I had my base colors, I was like very conservative with adding colors up here at the top and got more liberal as I came down. And you can definitely see here in this darkness that you go, oh, there's some kind of like splotches of colors, but we're going to fix that for sure. So before I start adding stuff, I'm just going to see what I can fix with what I have. So we're going to go for the old-fashioned straw. This here is nice, but it's a little bit patchy, so better. Yeah. Wow. Before I go to my foam, I'm just going to grab some more pointy sticks. I'm just looking for where some contrast is. I'm going to start with my white and move my way back. So here I have this white, and it's a metallic. Oh, I can smell it. Yeah, it's a metallic with a iridescent white in there and a pearl. I mixed a couple of whites together, and then I added some alcohol. And the reason for this is then when you blow it out, apparently it kind of breaks up a little bit more, and then you get this kind of foamy effect. I'm going to add just a dash more alcohol, see what happens. Again, I've never tried this before. Someone in a video was talking about doing their sea foam, and they said this is the way they did it. This now gets much thinner, which is good for what I'm going for. So what I'm looking for is kind of some delineation points. So like here between this green and light blue, I see one. So what I'm going to try and do is kind of get a bit of a line. I'm very much liking this. I'm really interested to see how. So this tape up here, I am actually just going to put a sky line is what I was going. So it's got a nice solid stripe. Yeah, I am happy with that. I think I'm now going to do a quick scrape of the bottoms, and then I'm going to let this dry, and of course I can always do more embellishments to it later. But boy, I'm really happy with this. Alrighty guys, I'm gonna let this sit, probably scrape it again. I'm gonna let it dry, and I'm gonna check it out tomorrow and go, hey, do I want to add some more embellishments? But for the most part, I'm really happy. I can't wait to see how that line works out. Okay. Hey everybody, Michael here. I didn't see you at the beginning of this video. I just jumped right in. But I wanted to say at this point two things. The first one is, after I let that painting dry, life kind of took over. I didn't have time to return to it. I needed to study some other painting techniques to do those clouds. I got some commissions in. So life got a little bit busy, and I actually had to let this painting sit for almost 2 weeks before I got to it. So where we're about to jump back in is 2 weeks later, and let's see what happened after that. Don't forget that my plan was to just paint a plain patch of sky. Here we go. What you haven't seen yet is when that was done, I removed the tape. That line is here. and I was looking for that crisp line. It wasn't as crisp as I wanted. You can probably see here, it had a little bit of, yeah, like some skin to it. And some of the paint, and then you'll see that here, has kind of leaked past that line. And that's okay, but I'm going to try and get a nice, as crisp a line as possible. Now, because of that skin, when I peeled the paint off, and because I used glue, it didn't come off like perfectly crisp. So I had to spend some time very, very carefully with an X-Acto knife. And in the long run, I went to my Dremel tool, and I literally kind of shaved that off. So the funny thing is that it's not even a millimeter, but this paint, the thickness of it, definitely is higher than the canvas. So now I've got to do the sky part. Now, in the past, I am a poor artist, yeah? P-O-U-R, not a P-O-O-R. And that's because I, as a kid, discovered I can't draw. So I always thought I would not be able to paint. So that's why I'm so glad I discovered acrylic pouring. This painting really wanted to really get this feeling of this Bondi Beach ocean. So I've gone a little bit more, still it's not realistic, it's still abstract, but I've gone closer to real than I've ever gone before. And now I have to do the sky. So in the past, I have only done a few embellishments to my works. Simple things like in a galaxy pour, I've added stars, which is just ... But I did do a piece once where when it was done, I was like, oh, it looks good, but it's just, yeah, there wasn't enough contrast in it. It looked like this red, like flowy blood almost. But I went online and I found a way to paint these three-dimensional bubbles. And I did that, and boy, it was a lot of work. But it was the only piece, together with the stars, that I had in my exhibition. And then Heidi, a singer friend of mine, she wanted a commission, and she's like, oh, I want this color and this, and I want those bubbles. And I ended up doing a triptych. So I ended up doing a lot of those bubbles across the 3 triptychs. Luckily, I did discover that Amsterdam has acrylic paint pens. And then you can actually then draw and use stencils, for example, to get the shapes. But it was still nerve-wracking. So I'm not a realistic painter. But this painting is all about experimentation, so I am going to experiment. So for this sky, I am going to go slightly realistic. One of the things is I am going to not pour the sky. I'm actually going to paint the sky with some clouds in it, yeah? So this is a technique I've never done before, but I have seen it online. I've researched it. I'm ready to go. So for today's painting, I am going to actually just be painting with acrylic paint. I'm going to paint the sky. I'm going to start by getting the edges done, and this lined a little bit with some of this Amsterdam, what would you call this? Sky blue light. And it's definitely one of the lightest blue colors. I really wanted a contrast, so I really, really like that. And then I have some colors I can add to it to darken it a little bit. I've got the King's Blue, and I, of course, have the Manganese Blue Thalto, yeah? So I can add a little bit of this. And then, so a little bit of cloud action to give it that fun quality. I've got the Amsterdam Pearl White. Now, I've used the Pearl Blue in here. It's pretty thinned out, so you can't really see it that much, so that's fine. But this white has a little bit of a shimmer to it. I want there to be some sunlight in those clouds. So at least that's what I'm going for. Again, I'm not a brush painter, so this is going to be interesting. Yeah? So what's going to happen is I'm going to lay down a little bit of this light blue along the edge, and then I'm going to do the sides. At one thought, I thought I'd go really arty and go just straight blue. Possible as well. You know, just the sky blue straight across, and just go, the contrast between the raging sea and the calm sky could have been really, really nice as well. And to be honest, that's also the backup plan. If I don't like these clouds, I can always paint over them if I don't like them. Yeah, I'm just going to let it sit for about 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Okay, guys, so I walked away for about, I'm going to say 7 minutes, and I came back and I started like making a plan and like looking like, okay, what am I going to do? And it's like, oh, what if I do this? And then I start, and before I noticed, I spent about 10 minutes kind of dry brushing it, which is, you know, just like these like crisscrosses just to get things spread. But with this technique with the water, I'm seeing places like here where I just go, oh, it's just now all kind of patched up, and I'm just not liking it. So what I'm going to do is quite forcefully, I am pulling my brush across just to make sure there's not like a thickness to it, because I'm going to kind of go back to my original plan, which I was thinking, but I'm going to try it in 2 steps. Alrighty guys, I'm back. I'm looking now, I can still see some stripes and some places where it's not even, so I'm just going to put on a second coat and not screw with it. Just going to be very, I've decided that the piece, to make it as like arty as possible, this sea is so wild and rough that I go, wouldn't it be nice then if this top, what, like 1/5 of the painting, or 1/6 is just relaxed, like a bar of color. So to really go with abstract, like the wild seas and the calm skies. I name paintings, I love naming my paintings. This painting will be called Not a Cloud in the Sky. So I'm just going to take some more of my sky blue. I'm going to not put it on as thick, and I'm just going to make sure that my edges are done well. That's where I see the most discoloration, and then make sure that this is all well done. But I put it on too thick with that big brush, so I'm going to go with a slightly smaller brush and spread it a little better. I love it. I love it because it is very, abstract representation. I love the contrast between the two halves. Oh, it's such a stark boom. Oh, I love it. No, I absolutely love it. Great. So I'm going to clean up real quick, and I am then going to give you guys a close-up. With a little bit of the lighting, I love how, like here, the colors kind of bleed through that foam idea here, and oh, here, just this little sea spray here, how the gold comes in. There's some little bit of rough spots here as well, and I love how it fades from this lighter to the darker. There's obviously like this mossy sandbank here underneath, so there's something more realistic than I would usually make in this. I mean, I've done like wave pieces before and like tree rings, but for an ocean to make this kind of half realistic, half abstract. That's nice. And then just this bam horizon at the top. Just fabulous.